Today's July 20th.
I'm bummed out. Yeah.
Well, that happened. Swept by the White Sox. We're here to talk about it. Buckle up, guys. You're listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Yins, guys. Thank you for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast, where we talk all about them Pittsburgh Pirates and that. My name is Josh. I'm joined, as always, by my brother, Jake. What's up, Jake?
What's going on, man? You asked me before we started what today was, right?
Yeah. What's today, Jake? Tell everybody.
It's Shark Week, baby.
Forgot that you had the shoes.
Got the Shark Week hey dudes, man.
I love it. It is Shark Week. You got to wear them.
I do. I wear them this week.
There you go. Is that the only week you wear them? I would wear them all the time.
No, I wear them. Anytime I go like down to the beach or anything, I wear them.
Love it. It is Shark Week. I got Shark Week on right behind me right now.
Air Jaws.
I don't know. I think it flipped to the other one because whatever. But
yeah.
Any Shark Week fans in the chat? Anybody watch them?
Those are sick.
Those are cool. Yeah, there you go. Wyatt going to be taking over Cheryl's account, seems like. Hanging out at the beach, as you saw in the opener. For those of you listening to audio, the chat is live. I'm sure we're gonna be reading the chat a lot. We want to hear from you guys. He says he likes the All-Star hat.
Thanks, man. I got a little debit dropped into my Venmo while I was at the All-Star game. It said,
"That's right.
Pick up a hat."
We won't say how much was dropped in there because that gives everything away. Because I sent you.
It took me a while to figure out why you sent that amount. And I'm like, this dude knows I have OCD about round numbers. And me and Ashley were both. She's like, maybe he looked up the cost of the hat and knew how much it was, so he sent you that much. And then we were sitting there like a minute and a half goes by. She goes, Jake.
That's how old you are.
That's how old you are. It's like, I'll give him a pass then.
That's right. Yep. That was the whole, but it wasn't like I didn't do change. You know what I mean? It wasn't the dollar amount and like 13 cents. Like I still rounded it to the dollar.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair then. Hey, the Pirates, man. Yeah, there you go. Can we live vicariously through Jake and be happier?
Dude, I will say this real quick. I haven't had a chance to be on here since I.
That's right. Right. Go ahead.
First off, I'm gonna start with this. It was a little weird. There was a couple weird moments while we were up there, but I walked into a steakhouse because I'm like, listen, we're out here. It's my birthday weekend. I want a steak. So we went to the steakhouse, and as soon as we walked in and put on our reservation, I'm like, hey, Ashley. She goes, what? I said, Ryan Dempster. Standing at the bar chatting up with some. I mean, obviously, I didn't bug anybody. I didn't say hi to anybody I saw. I'm just like pointed them out. So I got close to Ryan Dempster. CC Sabathia walked past us in the stadium. I did snap a little picture because I was standing still and while he was walking by. But and then I did see Matt Capps. I didn't say anything to him. I probably could have said something to him, but he was with his kids. So I was like,
yeah, you don't want to do that.
I ain't gonna.
I get that.
I don't like to bother people when they're like with family or. I remember this one time way back in the day. I was at Cheesecake Factory in Pittsburgh, and Andrew McCutcheon and his whole family were sitting at a table right beside us. And my buddy's like, "What do we do?" I said, "Nothing." I said, he's with his family. I'm not going to bother him. Mm-hmm. But as we got up and leave, I just looked at, he looked at me and that was it. And I don't know. I think they appreciate stuff like that. You didn't bother me, acknowledge me, but don't bother me. I get that. But, then The Derby was awesome.
Yeah.
The Derby was fantastic, man. We actually splurged a little bit for those tickets, paid a little bit more than we anticipated.
That's better than the game.
But like, dude, we thought, well, here's the thing. We thought we were in home run territory, right? We're right down the line. There was the home run terrace right above us.
Right.
I didn't realize that when we were
when I was looking
tickets,
I was like, he's not going to get a ball. Everything that would get as far as him is going to land in those seats.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that if somebody would have hit a hot shot, we would have had a chance at it.
Yeah,
but also, I'd probably get out of the way.
It'd have to be smoked.
Yeah. But no, it was a blast. It was kind of hard to keep up with a little bit. You know, I don't love the format right now.
Yeah, the format needs a little work. I think the event itself is still the best. When they stopped making them, it has to land, and they started this timing thing. That's the thing I don't like. But we had an opportunity to talk about that sort of stuff. Well, I did on the daily shows. But yeah, I think that, dude, ESPN, like watching it live is hard. Watching it on ESPN was even hard. They were zooming into the ball like as if it was golf. Like that's how you were seeing the flight of the ball. You know what I mean?
That's wild.
And it was like, you can't even see where it's going. And then you got it was split screen and not enough on the screen. And it was kind of more like you're watching the pitcher throw the ball. And I don't know, man. I want to see where the ball's landing. But also, like, O'Neal hit some bombs, and we didn't get to see. Like, I just want to see him.
I'm not gonna lie.
Hit the
I was
bombs.
like yelling and stuff during most of the Derby. When Cruz hit the couple balls in a row, and one of them was 513 feet, I didn't have a lot to say.
Yeah,
I was just like, I think the words that came out of my mouth, I was like, oh my gosh. And then there went another one. I was like, geez.
yeah. Straight bombs. All right.
Yeah.
So obviously the Pirates, the All-Star break rather is over. And the Pirates opened up the second half by getting swept by the Chicago White Sox, the team who set the all-time loss record last year.
Yeah.
Not a good way to go under 500 all time for your franchise either. And I think that vibes are possibly lower than I remember. I got to think back to, and I'm not forecasting here, Jake. I'm really not. This is not my intention. But like, I think back to 2012 when it was 20 straight losing seasons and how deflated so many people were.
Mm-hmm.
And I just I'm not sure. I know that you and I right now are closer to this than we were in 2012. Right? Not necessarily like we were watching the Pirates, all the games and everything, but like doing the podcast and being kind of in touch with more of the fans and getting more of a pulse. Like 2012, I was moving from Indiana to where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And so like, it's all there. I remember the 19 inning game against the Braves where they basically called the terrible call and then it spiraled after that.
Yeah.
And I'm just not sure that, like, I'm not sure what was worse because I've seen, obviously, recency bias is going to tell everybody this is as low as I can remember, right? You had a rebuild and the rebuild should have been coming out, like this should be coming out of the rebuild. And right now it's not, right? It's worse. And so like, that's the thing that, I'm carefully trying to, you know what I'm saying? I'm carefully trying to put this together. We should be coming out of the rebuild right now. It should be time to win.
Mm-hmm.
Last year should have been better and it wasn't, but you thought, okay, but you can still make that step. And we know the reasons. We've been talking about the reasons that it's not good, but there are reasons why it's worse. And we're going to talk about that tonight. But like, I'm not forecasting that 2012 is a mirror of this. Like, I don't feel like that's what it was. That wasn't the same situation necessarily. But I just wonder if the folks who remember 2012 fondly are at the same place that they are now, like, or now that they were then, right? And that's where I'm trying to like put this into perspective. How low is this, right? And there were people in year 2 of Ben Sherrington's tenure here who were already forecasting that this was going to happen. Those people didn't know that. They just happened to be right. They shouldn't be right. This team shouldn't be this bad. And those are the kind of things that I think we want to talk about tonight, is the fact that this roster is, and we'll get into detail, okay? But the roster's bad, but it's not this bad.
Right. Yeah, you couldn't have said it better. I'm 100% on board with that. You have guys that should be having better seasons. They're just not. They're just not doing their job. Some of the guys that we paid money to just not getting the job done. We can blame the owners, and we have every right to. We can blame the GM, and we have every right to. But at the end of the day, I mean, there's players on the field that need to do their job too, and they're not doing it. That is the epitome of this team is better than they're playing, but we're not saying that they were a good team. Like, they should be a lot closer to 500.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Which is not good enough.
Right.
But then it would be on the front office.
What we're saying.
But then it would be on the front office, right?
Yes.
And then it would be on everywhere you want to go there, but it wouldn't be on the players. If they were just at least getting to the point where they would at least be reaching their potential with this roster.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man. That's part of what baseball is too. That's why you got to play the games.
Right, 100%. You're right. That's why the games are played. Nothing's done on paper, right? Well, I mean, Jake, so let's go back and then we'll keep going forward, but like we're going to jump around a lot in these thoughts because I want this to be organic and I want this to be really just you and I just kind of going through this and I guess venting, right? It's called therapy session today for a reason. Even if they would have signed Santander, he's not doing good this year. Even if they would have signed Tyler O'Neill, he's not doing good this year. That doesn't mean they would have, but like this is why I'm saying like I'm less on nutting right now, and it's not because of nutting. I'm just saying like even if he would have said spend the money on Santander, we'd still be this bad. So what I guess the only reason I'm saying that, right, is just to qualify like, okay, even if he would have allowed us to spend more money, we'd be in the same situation. So like for me, it's not necessarily the money that's making this team this bad. Now, like I said, you never know. Some more excitement, some things might have been different, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But the fact that like you start to go down the line and you already said it, Sherrington has what he's responsible for. Right? And then the players have what they're responsible for too. No amount of money that they could have spent this offseason, considering the left fielders who are available and how they're performing right now, no amount of left fielders that they could have spent would have been good, would have fixed this problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could at least say
Verdugo doesn't even have a job.
Verdugo, and I know I made the case for Verdugo, but that was long after those other guys were gone.
100%. Yeah. No, and I'm just saying like that's just one of them. I wasn't picking him out because you advocated for him. I was just picking him out.
It was more like if those guys are gone, this is the guy, not Tommy Pham, right?
Right.
And I still think if Verdugo would have had a full spring training, it would have been better than what Tommy Pham showed up with. Yeah. But either way, he didn't. So it just. And it once again, and I don't say that to say like, here's an excuse. Like that's not it.
No.
The point is that there are players on this team, and we're going to go into individually, which is why we're being ambiguous about it, right? There are players on this team who are not holding their end up of the bargain, or whatever, however you want to word that. And that is resulting in what's going on right now to a point, to their limit. And then it's front office, right? And then you can go as far as saying, like, where does nutting come into this whole thing? I think the nutting piece of this whole thing is a much bigger picture. I don't think it's on, I don't put him on a microscope for each season. This is a bigger picture thing.
Yeah.
And it can be whatever end of the spectrum you want to go. We're not going into that, but it can be, if it's just spending money, like spending money doesn't do anything. You got to spend money on good players and they have to execute. Spending money alone doesn't win anything. But it, as a whole, right? Well, spend money. Well, we spent money on Brian Reynolds. Okay. So spend money. You know what I'm saying? And you also could say it's setting up a bunch of other things. The people that he hires, the consistency of payroll put into place, the reason why you have to trade people early. Why isn't he advocating for more of a level playing field when he goes to the owners' meetings? You could go really far down this path without us getting into it. But all of that stuff is, it's one after another. And if you, and just to go down the line, you've got Travis Williams, the guy who doesn't know about baseball, the president of the team. He's making all these things. He's doing all these things, which he's butchered a ton of them this year.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, that's his story to tell, not mine. Whatever reason, there's been a bunch of things that have gone wrong, but even the things that he's done well are not revenue increasing things. And so how are you going to spend more money if you've spent a lot of money without those things bringing revenue back? Invest into revenue opportunities. So you're gone, right? You're gone. And then Ben Sherrington, as we move along the table here, you didn't do enough in the offseason. You're not aggressive enough. You're not spending the money. You've got 700,000 analytics guys on your team. And I love stats. I don't know how much I love analytics necessarily, but I think that we learn a lot from analytics. I like analysis. I like to do that stuff. However, how many do we need? Because we're spending our budget money on front office guys instead of guys that can hit a curveball. Guys that can not strike out.
Fastball.
Guys that can even hit a fastball. So like let's go down the line. You're gone. Okay. So we're going through it, Jake. We got rid of 2 of them already. Shelton's already gone. Verdict's out on Donnie Kelly. I like a lot of what I see. He's not going to be perfect. And when you have players like this, and I guess probably maybe we just go right into it, because I think it's the biggest problem with the 2025 Pirates. If you can imagine the biggest problem, it's Brian Reynolds.
Yeah.
It's been terrible. Yeah. This guy was extended when he was a top 10 outfielder in baseball. Not defensive, guys. Don't call me out on it. Offensive. He was all around. He was a good hitter. Everything was there. Top 10. He wasn't going to be a 40 homer guy. Wasn't going to be one of those upper echelon guys, but he was constantly, MLB Network does their top 10 right now. He's always on the list.
Yeah.
He's not going to be on that list.
No.
He's one of the worst 10 now.
Yeah.
It's not just, he fell a little down. No, all the way to the bottom. And I will defend Reynolds in saying, well, he's a good player. He's having a bad year. But how long does that go, Jake? Is he done? Is this the end? That's a real question.
Yeah, I don't see it being the end of Brian Reynolds. I think he was too good to let this be the end. But I think it's the end of his season. I have a hard time seeing that he's going to have a bounce back to put his numbers to where they normally end up at the end of the year. It's been prolonged too long. He'll be lucky to get to 20 homers. I don't know that he'll get there.
Even if he does, the rest of the numbers aren't good. So even if he gets to 20, I'm not sure that they're the 20 that, fine, you got to 20 homers, but you're essentially turning into Jack Sawinski's 20 homers, right? Where there's not a whole lot else.
Yeah, and like I said, that's why I think that it's the end of his season.
Mm-hmm. Wait, it's the end.
It's the end. I thought I had a sneeze coming.
Oh,
it's the end of his season, but I think he can bounce back next year.
Oh, so you're saying he can't save this season at this point?
He can't save this season.
I got you.
He can't save it. But I think that Brian Reynolds is too good of a player. I think he will be able to bounce back next year. I just think it's going to take the offseason to clear this. Even if he does salvage what he can from this season, it's still not going to be a good year.
Right.
It's not even going to be an okay year. Like it was,
right.
It's a bad year, and it's going to be a bad year.
Yeah. Bucko Mike does bring up a good point. Austin Hayes, of all the left fielders, but then again, I still, availability is the best ability, and Austin Hayes has been on the injured list twice. He's been great when he's with Cincinnati, but you're right. He would have been an upgrade. I don't know that those numbers look the same at PNC Park as they do at Great American Small Park, but you know what I'm saying? Like, still, he's hitting well, and he's been the bright spot of the outfield acquisitions. Although I think, like I said, he was so bad in Philly that they found a diamond in the rough. I don't think this was a guy that a lot of people were in on. More or less, he was the same as Alex Verdugo. But it is a good call out. He has been the one guy that was available who's actually had a good year. So the chat's going, Jake. I'm trying to get through some of this stuff.
Hopefully Reynolds doesn't get pregnant again for next year, and we can just put this behind us. Like, what?
Yeah.
Spade is spade, man.
That doesn't mean what he thinks it means.
Cue it up, baby. But I'm just gonna reiterate that. I think the season's lost. I think we're gonna chalk this up as a bad season. I think he can bounce back next year. I think he can be our 3 or 4. I don't know that he should be a 2-hitter in most lineups in a good team's lineup. But I mean, I could see him being our 3-hitter again next year, and
I mean, just moving him down one spot instead of to the 5 or 6 hole. I don't know that it even made a difference. I don't know, man. Anyway, I want to say, Bucko Mike, just a comparison of that 2012, and he says this is worse. And he said 2012, the Pirates were 60 and 70 after 130 games. I think that's part of what was so bad about 2012.
Yeah.
So
70 and 60, by the way.
Oh, what'd I say?
60 and 70.
Oh, 70 and 60. Yeah. So I think that's what made 2012 so bad when it was, as low as you go, because of the collapse, where in this case, it's more of a long drawn out.
The never start.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Martin says, I had high hopes for Bart and Horwitz coming into the season. And so let's go ahead and talk about those too, because as we go down through, like we want to hear, but like Bart, you know what? The floor's yours.
Yeah. I mean, I was never sold on Bart. I've been on record multiple times saying I wasn't sold on Bart early. In spring training. He was giving me hopes, but I think I still held to it and said, I want to see what he does in the regular season. And it's been awful.
Well, it was how long? Well, awful, certainly behind the plate, but at the plate, it was like, so what? He's hitting over 300. He had 1 home run for how long? And it was like, this was a guy that was hitting doubles and home runs. I mean, what, he had 12 home runs last year or something like 13. That? So it's just gone. The slug is gone. The thing that this team needs more than anything is slug, and it's completely gone. And Bart is a backup catcher, or
at best.
Something. Yeah, at best. And then Spencer Horwitz is another one. Like, this guy's in his second pro year. He only played 90 some games last year. I try my hardest in situations like this. Like, dude, we're frustrated today, right?
I'm bummed out. Yeah.
This is a frustrating episode, but I still like to keep things in context here. Spencer Horwitz, he doesn't even look as lost as Brian Reynolds right now. There are a lot of times where I'm like, I don't hate that at bat. It was a good at bat. He just isn't coming through. I think there's still an opportunity for Horwitz to learn. Jake, can he be Ike Davis from 2013? Yeah, he can be that. He can be Ike Davis from 2013. Can he be Gabby Sanchez from 2014? Yeah, he can be that. Those are 2 playoff teams. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could be that. Pedro Alvarez, Pedro was so bad on the field when he moved to first base, but he's still at 27 homers that year. I mean, Spencer Horwitz isn't doing 27 homers, but could he be maybe the WAR numbers there? Could he be Pedro Alvarez, what Pedro Alvarez was at first base? I don't know about that one. Maybe.
I don't hate the Horwitz move. I don't dislike Horwitz. I just think that it's that, man, wrist injuries, dude, they kill hitters.
Yeah, and so is it just that? Is it still he's coming back from a wrist injury? That's going to take time. You're really looking for next year?
You really probably are.
Okay, well.
But get him the heck out of the leadoff spot.
Well, that's another thing. So here's the thing that I don't want to, because I said the thing about Reynolds, and let's not get hung up on that. There's no place to put any of these guys. They're all bad.
No,
they're all having a bad year or bad in general.
Yeah.
So the lineup doesn't even matter at this point.
That's true.
They're all.
You got to put somebody there.
This is one of those tiny little baseballs. This is what the Pirates are looking at when they're trying to hit.
Yeah.
This is it.
And it's moving 100 miles an hour.
Aaron Savali was throwing 89 today and they couldn't hit it.
Right.
So
it's rough, man.
Doug Smith, how can an MLB player not afford a good eye doctor? I think he's got I think Pham has an actual problem where his vision changes. And I think that, but yeah, still, but it is really interesting.
He probably punched his eye doctor. That was good.
He probably did. He got in a fight with him because he said something that he didn't like about his fantasy football team or something. So if you don't play by the rules, he's just going to punch you in the face, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, Martin says that Reynolds will bounce back. Doug, when Leland was hired, he had reason for hope. Poor Donnie has no hope. What's up, Jim? Jim says, when does the suffering end? And
your guess is as good as ours.
This to me, and you know that like let's level set with this too, because you know that like I am patient.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm a patient fan. I love watching baseball. I care. Obviously, I want to see the team win, but for me, when I watch one game and I just put that game in context, or in a silo, and I say, I can still analyze that game and say, well, this is where the game turned. If they would have done this, they would have done that. It doesn't matter when you're doing that kind of stuff. It doesn't matter if the team has been really good lately, or if they've been really bad lately, or if they even have hope. Sometimes it's easier to watch a losing team when they have no hope. And I think that's what makes this team so bad is this should have been a moment to turn. This was Sherrington's. I mean, really, we said he should have went last year because last year should have been a stepping stone. Last year was the first year that he didn't improve. And looking at the system, we knew, okay, it's not going to be, we're behind now, right? We're a year behind. And so this team could have been that stepping stone to around 500 and then moving on to better things. The problem is we don't see that happening right now. There's a path for it, but if I have to rely on Brian Reynolds to be one of the dudes, I don't know that it's there. Like if Brian Reynolds is your Starling Marte, like you still are missing your Kutch and you were hoping that maybe Cruz could blossom into that, or at least in some fashion. You don't have to necessarily have a Kutch if you have, because like Pedro Alvarez led the league with 36 homers the year he led. Like that's something that Cruz could do, but I think that he's going to offer a lot more than that, right? With the stolen bases and then the possible potential good defense. Like there's things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, Canyon says, do we lose 100 games? Jake, it's on the table.
It is on the table.
I don't see how. I would have said no. Starting in about June, I was like, I see a path where they absolutely could lose 100 games.
Yeah.
And I think
it got worse.
And then it got worse. And I think at this while you had the one run of the good homestand.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, we got a 6-game run. Maybe they can salvage a little bit. And then the idea was, can Donnie Kelly go 500? The team will still be bad, but could that happen? And I don't know. Jim says right now on pace for 99 Ls, and we still have to trade a ton of people. Like, I don't know that they can salvage that. Like, there's a good chance they get to 100.
Yeah.
I still think this team could get better. If Brian Reynolds flips a switch, and I had somebody say, well, he had 3 hits last night. 2 of them were 80-mile-an-hour, like a roller through the infield and a bloop over. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had a good double. But like, his numbers are, hey, he's hitting the ball hard still. We were talking about this in a group chat today and just kind of breaking down like, what's the deal here? Because some of the underlying numbers are good, but some of them kind of make it look like maybe that's why. Like, his hard hit rate is up. Yeah, but he's swinging and missing more than he ever has. So the times that he hits it are fewer, so you can get the hard, and his launch angle's down, which means you can have harder hits. And so, like, I don't know. Is his hard hit rate actually there? It's just hard. It's just hard. Okay, so real quick, Bucko Mike. I know what Hayes is doing on the road. When you're going good, you're going good. And when you do that sort of thing, it gives you confidence and you can hit on the road. It's not hitting it in Cincinnati. It's not the same thing as Colorado, where you're getting hits in Colorado and you can't figure out why you're not getting hits on the road because the game is entirely different. It's just that, like, in Cincinnati, it's a little different and you can build confidence and do well on the road too. It's not that big of a deal. It just, he's played more games, I would guess, if that's the case. But either way, it just, when you like go back to Reynolds, the strikeout rate's almost the highest it's ever been. 2020 was a short and really bad season for him too. So a lot of those high numbers, a lot of those bad numbers are rivaling what he did in 2020, which was also a sophomore year and the COVID year, in which that when I'll give you a pass for being upset when you have to be away from your family and yada, yada, not to mention, I think first kid. So all that stuff. Right. But the swing and miss is happening so much more that those contacts can raise like hard hit rate and barrels and like, cause it's all percentage based. And so you can have a higher percentage in that case. He also, this was one of the big things I saw. He also, okay, we'll read Jim here. Hard hit rate doesn't matter when you're swinging and missing and smacking the ball into the ground. Like, okay, so yeah. He has his highest by a long shot percentage of meatballs. Baseball Savant, StatCast, they right down the middle, whatever, meatballs. You know what I'm saying? Highest percentage of meatballs of his career have been this year. And he has the lowest swing rate. We're not even talking about contact, Jake. The lowest swing rate on meatballs of his entire career. So you're getting more of them and you're taking them. They're going to keep feeding you more.
Yeah. I
guess you could say chicken or the egg. Which one's coming first, right? You know what I'm saying? If he's taking them, then they're going to throw more. Or if they're throwing more, then maybe that's why, but it's just it's bad all around. And there's not a whole lot that can save what Reynolds. I mean, that's to me the most frustrating thing.
Yeah.
To me, that's the most frustrating thing.
With you on that. Yeah. Just maybe he needs to get another ag. I don't know.
I don't even think.
Start sending them all.
I don't think it's it. I think there's a lot of. There's a lot of things.
Either.
Shared says not defending Andy Haynes, but Brian Reynolds trained with him personally in the offseason. Maybe it's hard for him to adjust. I don't even. Andy Haynes' problems were not necessarily like hitting. It was strategy and approach. I don't know. I mean, you're not going over that kind of stuff when you're just hitting in the off season.
Yeah.
swing tweaks, all that kind of stuff. That's fine. I mean, there's a lot of Andy Haynes got jobs, but it was everything else involved with Andy Haynes, and Brian Reynolds didn't do that stuff. The stuff that that Andy Haynes had this offense doing so bad, Brian Reynolds had a completely different identity. So
yeah,
it just didn't play, but I don't know, man. I'll move on to another one because, obviously check my time here. Yeah, we're going. So this is good, but you're getting into, all that's happened this year, all that's gone bad this year. The question is, and maybe it goes along with when does the suffering end, but the question is how do you make it better at this point without relying on, and this is something that you should be able to rely on, internal improvements. And I know that's been talked about, and it's like, come on. But internal development, internal improvements, that is something that you can rely on. But not at this rate.
Yeah, you look at it and you don't see a whole lot coming.
And what internal improvements have happened with the guys who are there? Right. Like we talk about Brian Reynolds.
You've had like one guy come up and be like, Skeens aside, obviously he's a freak.
Well, I'm mostly talking about hitting, but yeah, keep going.
Yeah, that's why we're talking. Yeah, so we've had one guy that has been a good addition to the team, and that's Nicky G.
Yeah,
Nicky G coming up, holding down second base for us, barring the minus the injury. He's been a bright spot that has been an internal upgrade that's worked.
Yeah.
I don't know where the other internal upgrades are coming. We've brought multiple guys up for the outfield. We've brought, Peggy hasn't shown anything in his times that he's been up. You see these guys come up and there's just nothing coming to fruition once they get here.
It's hard some of those guys, it's difficult because with Shelton, they'd bring him up and not play him.
Right.
And that always makes it hard. But like Nick Gonzalez was a hitter. And we kind of always knew he was going to be a hitter. Quick hands, fast hands. The question was, how good, right? And right now it looks like maybe Neil Walker good, right? Maybe in that range. Maybe not. I mean, I don't think he'll have the same power numbers. And maybe he does. Maybe he grows into some power, but he's smaller. So like Nicky G saying Nicky G's a hitter, he's going to use the field, he's going to have he's hitterish, right? That's it. He's hitterish. Mm-hmm. But he's not
he's clutch too.
And he's clutch, but he's not like a
needle mover.
He's not a needle mover. And
yeah.
But I think development wise it was there, but Jim says even Gonzalez has been fine. He's basically shown he's a 2-WAR player. Exactly. Like
that's what I'm saying though. Like that's the best we've come up with in an internal. Right. But he's the only one that's even been probably like even close to a 2-WAR of the guys that we've brought up.
Yeah, Jim says he thinks Nicky G. I think if he's in the league for a while, like I could see him having a couple years.
Yeah.
Like as a dude. You know what I mean? Like I see Nicky G because of he is what he is. I could see that translating to a couple really good years. I don't know how far beyond 3-WAR he goes and whatever. I mean, WAR's tough anyway because it's going to throw defense in there and the whole 9 yards. And
because it's Jim throwing these comments out there, he's more than just a good little ball player. Like he's at least he's a ball player.
He is a ball player. Like I enjoy a guy that plays like him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That error today though, just a stolen. I mean, that run would have scored anyway.
Yeah.
But either way, I mean, it's not even a fielding error. It's a stolen base. He caught it. Jim, he's not been that rough, right? His defensive numbers look okay, don't they?
I thought so.
He is a ball player. Yeah, I think he's been a lot better at second than maybe I thought he was going to be. I was nervous, but when they talked about him, when they were like, right after he was drafted, be like, yeah, I don't know how good he's going to be on defense. And everybody was like, he's going to be terrible. He's not been terrible. He's been a major league infielder.
Yeah.
I thought for a while his defensive runs saved were on the positive side, but I don't know. I think there's a lot. Like he's making plays at least. I mean, there's the routine plays that he's going to miss, but he's making some plays. I think when he tries to do some of the extra things, he's thrown a couple away. But for second base, I mean, Neil Walker was -4 defensive runs saved. So it's gotten worse because it was good for a minute.
Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you for putting that in there because, you say something like that and then somebody's listening to it and they're like, you idiot. Because they know the number. Thanks for putting that in there. I don't mind raising my hand. You know what I mean? Yeah. I thought it was good there for a while. Anyway. But he's the only hitter that really hasn't been impacted by like the team at the plate, for lack of a better word. And he's not lighting the world on fire, right? But
he's been a major league hitter.
Yeah.
Like he's been able to stick it. You know what I mean?
Cheryl says, I don't trust Sherrington to make the changes that need to be made. Getting us back on track here. Man, I don't know how to fix it. First and foremost, Brian Reynolds has to fix Brian Reynolds.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that has to happen. Without that happening, I have no idea. You've given him the money. He's double digits in money for the rest of his contract. This isn't Key Brian Hayes where it's like, well, you never have to even pay him more than $8 million, and that's some years away. But Key Brian Hayes is the other one. And it's call it injuries if you want to defend him, and that's fine. I'll allow that. But because of those injuries, he's not been able to reach any potential that we saw for him. And I didn't even have high potential for him at the plate. But if he could have been league average, a lot like what you get out of Nick Gonzalez, if you could be league average and you could start putting a bunch of league average guys in your lineup with a few at the top, this pitching staff's enough. Like I said, this team needs a league average offense to be a good team. That's the pitching that they have here.
Yeah.
And they're not even close. They're not even close to that. So outside of...
at least he's hitting with runners in scoring position.
It's just not... I get it, but yeah, so that's a good point. I'm glad Bucko and Mike brought this up. Tommy Pham +8 defensive runs saved. So maybe the eye test for Nicky G is a little bit better because Tommy Pham sucks in the outfield and he's got +8 defensive runs saved. And he looks like he's never thrown a baseball before. He's terrible. Yeah. He's terrible. He gets the balls and then almost catch. He's terrible out there. And this is what you get. So defensive runs saved isn't perfect. I think that's a very good example of that. Because the eye test is like, I want to turn the TV off every time I see him slide for a ball.
Yeah.
It's that bad. So defensive runs saved isn't perfect. But it is a statistic that we can use to compare one guy to the next and so on. But yeah, he's awful. And the problem is he's not worth anything in the trade market. And Andrew Heaney has completely ruined his trade value. Just absolutely destroyed it. He's worth nothing now.
Nothing.
Bailey Falter, as if he was even on the block, would never be on the block now because he's terrible. He's terrible. These guys can't even get out of the first inning, Jake. I mean, they're getting out of it because you have to, but not without a deficit. And then you get Caleb Ferguson, one of our best trade chips. Comes in the other day and just sabotages our trade value. Next is Santana and Bednar. Two bad games, and we won't even get a minor league pitcher for them.
Yeah.
They're all ruining everything.
Right.
And I don't know how I don't know how you get out of it. I don't know how. Now, maybe I'm being too critical. Maybe I'm being too, but this is what it feels like. That as soon as you get to this time of year, and you've got a bunch of guys getting ready to go on the trade market. You sign these guys so you can trade them.
Yeah.
Tommy Pham was a mistake. He was never going to be worth anything. So I understand somebody's going to sign him because they think he's a leader. And maybe he is one-on-one, person to person.
The Fight
right?
Club leader.
There's
not allowed to talk about it.
So I see Knoxwood, at least Key is healthy, that extension though. Listen, the Key Brian Hayes extension is not.
He's talking about Bailey Falter's extension.
Oh, Bailey, I got you. It doesn't matter. If you lose the extension, there's nothing else there. I'm sorry. I wasn't following. I saw the Key and then the extension, I was thinking contract extension. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Key Brian's making backup money. So,
yeah.
Anyway. Key Brian's probably one of the only ones of the group that I've been talking about who's actually trade worthy. Who's actually somebody that a team would say, all right, we'll take that on. He can hit with runners in scoring position and he's the best fielder in baseball.
Yeah.
I'll take him because he's going to hit 9th in my lineup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm looking at my list here. IKF, pretty good early, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's still a chip.
No, you're good, Matt.
You're not going to get a lot for him, but you're still going to trade. Like you're still going to get something for him. Somebody's going to want him as a backup infielder.
Yeah. But you're acquiring a backup infielder.
Yeah.
So like you're not getting anything. Andrew Heaney could have been a guy who could have brought something back.
They
Starting
needed to
pitching
trade
is
him while he was going good. Like they could have traded him 2 months ago.
Right. Right.
They were deep enough into the season where people knew who they were. People knew who was going to be trying to make a run and who needed pitching. They could have made a deal then. You got to, with a guy like Heaney, you got to strike while that iron's hot. Well, he's going good. Trade him.
Yeah. Never
going to let him finish the season with us.
The only thing that I would say as a caveat to that is maybe there are teams that weren't like, as you get to the deadline, teams know whether or not they're doing it.
Right.
So you might, if you could push it further on and a team says, oh, I just had an injury. Well, now all of a sudden they're willing to pony up a little bit more value for the return. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only thing that you have going on Heaney is that he's a veteran. He's been in this league a long time and the people know what they're getting. If they could just get him, change his scenery, and he might be fine. I mean, this guy's been a major league pitcher for a while. He's done some good things in this game. It's not like he's just a bum that nobody knows about, right? He's not, I don't want to call Bailey Falter a bum, but like he's not Bailey Falter where he's only been with 2 teams and he's kind of like getting his bearings. It's not that. It's a guy who the league knows. And he's also pitched out of the bullpen. So if he could just get you through the year, I mean, he's got a World Series ring. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a guy there who that's the only thing you can bank on. But if the other team says, yeah, but he's cooked, then you're done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's nothing left.
Yeah.
And maybe you don't blow up on Caleb Ferguson. If your team looking for a left-handed bullpen arm and you say, that was one bad outing, then fine. But as a Pirates fan, when you're already in the dumps because you're losing to the White Sox and you were actually playing a good game and he comes in and blows it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And starts the worst inning of the season, maybe.
5 batters in and we were losing 4-0.
Well, that was today. I mean, even yesterday we went in 3-0. We got a 4-inning no-hitter. They score a couple. They score a couple. We bounce back. We answer back with a run. And then Caleb Ferguson gets 1 out and gives up 4 runs. You know. So Cheryl says he's dried out. We used everything. So if that's the case, who's acquiring him?
Right.
And if they're looking at the same thing, like they're going to have to see him throw a couple more good outings before anybody acquires him. And then if he goes out and he gives up more, then
I don't know if he has a couple more I don't know if he has a couple more outings before the deadline. He's got one more start.
No, Caleb Ferguson.
Oh, I thought we were just talking Heaney.
I keep going Caleb Ferguson. You keep.
I know, and I keep going Heaney.
Yeah, that's all right.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that's. Matt says, fingers crossed Cam Devaney can hold up until Griffin is ready. That's a big question mark. Has he made his debut? I like the fact that he can hit the ball far. I don't know how often, but yes, he's a bridge. And right now, IKF was the only option to be that. And at least Devaney plays a good shortstop.
Yeah.
So you're going to have a good shortstop defensively, and he's going to hit maybe like the rest of the team. But if we could just have guys that didn't hit but knocked home runs every once in a while, I think this team would be a little easier to watch.
Yeah.
When you have a bunch of guys who have low batting averages and they're trying to piece together singles, that's not recipe for success. You're not going to score very many runs.
No.
When you're trying to hit 4 singles an inning and you have a team full of low batting averages, now, if you have a team full of high on base guys and they hit home runs
like these guys are going to help us out. Like, just bring them up.
Bring them up.
I don't even care if they are terrible for 2 months. Let them play. At this point, just let them play. Just see if they can figure anything out. I don't know. That's just the way I see it. Let the young guys play, or I mean, some of them are young. Let these guys play and see if they can figure anything out and see what we have, because we're gonna have to retool in the offseason, and we need to know about some of these guys. Are they worth keeping in the system or not?
Martin says move Heaney to the bullpen to get more innings before the deadline. Nothing to lose at this point. Trade value can't go lower. Yeah. Ashcraft slots in, bring up Bubba. One of those things. You know, you make another trade, you open up a spot on the 40-man if you get a minor leaguer, and then, you know, it is what it is. But, yeah. I see Bucko Mike says 2 for 7. And the guy hasn't played since, like, the first week of July. Give him a few games.
Give him a minute.
He hasn't played in a while. Let's get him into some games and give him some time. He's got at least 10 days down there before he's even eligible to be called up. So let's give him some time. I'm not overly optimistic about Cam Devaney. Right? I'm just not. But I don't even think it's let's see what we got. I think he's a bridge player. And I don't know. He might hit some home runs, I guess. I mean, he's got 18 this year. He might hit some home runs.
Right.
So Matt says, emphasize, bring up Chandler. Yeah, I mean, like, you know what, though, Matt? Let me play devil's advocate here. I agree with you, but just for fun, just for the fact that we're doing this, do you bring him up into this atmosphere? They're winning games in Indy. Do you bring him up here? If he gives up 2 runs, the whole crowd's going to yell at him.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's the atmosphere. I mean,
I'm not a quick trigger on that. I'll be honest.
I think he's ready. I think he could help this team. I just at this point, everybody's so down.
I don't see him helping this team. We got to hit.
Yeah, but he's right now. We just gave up 27 runs to the White Sox in 3 games.
Yeah,
he's gonna help.
I get that.
Like we just had, you got Bailey Falter and Andrew Heaney out there giving up home runs left and right, and they can't get out of the first inning. No, like he's gonna help in that sense, right? So those guys need out of the rotation. So trade Heaney. We got to get Bailey Falter out of here. He's so bad to watch. Even when he's going good, I can't stand it. I'm like, how are they missing? And I guess it's the same thing. Like when we
watching him pitch.
Oh my gosh, I can't stand it. It's just like I'm just waiting for it to not work. You're throwing a non-good pitch and they're swinging and missing. I don't understand how you're doing it.
It's a good pitch.
No, it's just that it's on you quicker than you think.
It's a good pitch.
You call it that, but and the analytics will agree with you, right? Extension's important. I get it. I don't. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I don't know. It's not been good lately. It was good for a while.
No, it has not been good lately. I won't defend that.
All right, Dennis Santana, David Bednar. You start getting rid of Ferguson, Bednar, and Santana, and all of a sudden you don't have a bullpen anymore. You can bring up, Kyle Nicholas. You can bring up Dowry Moretta. Is there another guy down there right now? You can bring those guys up. Michael Darrell Hicks. technically. Colin Holderman. Oh, let's have fun with that one.
Yeah, I'm not trading all those pieces. I'm just not. I'm on team. Let's extend Bednar. Let's trade Santana. Let's trade Ferguson. I get, like, I'm not even saying that because he's from Pittsburgh. Like, that's not the reason why. I just think that I think he had his downfall and he's back, and I don't see it going anywhere.
I don't. Here's the thing, Jake. He gets more expensive next year, and I need to know: is this team going to be ready for a closer that makes $10 million? What is your value in a closer when you're never winning in the ninth inning? What is your value? You know what I'm saying?
I get it. I feel like, or I think that it's a closer. They're closer to being good than it looks. Josh, if we score one more run per game, we're probably over 500.
It seems mixed in the chat, right? There's Bucko might keep Santana. Cheryl says Bednar over Santana. There's difference. The thing about this is, I actually, if I'm only keeping one, I actually like the idea of keeping Santana right now because of, one, the expense of it. And if that thing turns upside down, which relievers can at any moment, you're at least not out 10 million, or if you extended even more than that, you at least have a little more manageable situation. We know that the Pirates don't spend as much money as they could. We also know that the Pirates don't have a lot of money to spend. And if you don't think that, you're lying to yourself to try to play a game. They don't have as much money to spend as other teams do. And there is a handful of teams that are in the same situation. So taking on a $10 to $12 million contract for a closer that you're only going to use 30 times a year is not necessarily a great way to spend money. And if you go to a guy like Santana, and a guy who we know it can fall apart for him, we've already seen it happen. I'd much rather move. Bednar's career will be, if he has great years, he's still going to sign 1 and 2 year deals for the rest of his career because of his past. That's always going to happen. And really, that's what happens with closers. Dennis Santana's not technically a closer right now. So I think if you move Bednar, Santana doesn't have to be the closer. He can still be just the guy who's good in your bullpen. And you go closer by committee because this team right now, specifically in 25, does not need a closer. Use matchups to figure out who's closing out the game today. You just don't need a guy sitting down there waiting for opportunities to close or to get a save. You know what I mean? Just let it be whoever it is. I think if it's high and you can get a return for, I think people underestimate what you can get back for a reliever right now. If you can get back a good return, move that reliever. If you can't, keep the reliever. That's all there is to it. Well, unless you're talking Caleb Ferguson. For Santana and Bednar, who you have for next year, if the return's not there, just keep them. Don't make it even worse if you don't have to.
Right. Yeah.
So, but if you can get something good for them, now we're also relying on Sherrington to decide that. But if you can get something good for them, that's when I'd move them. And I wouldn't hold back if it was both of them. I'd figure it out. You can get relievers. You can bring guys up and say you're pitching out of the bullpen. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, there's guys in here saying Eddie Yeen, or Eddie Jean, however it's actually pronounced. I think it's actually Jean, which is weird. But anyway, he has a 2.54 ERA right now in AAA. Actually, 2.43. What is his ERA? And how does that not make sense? At the top of the page, his 2025 MILB stats says 2.54, but when you go down to 2025 on his stat sheets, it says 2.43. So who knows which one it actually is? Did he pitch today and then that game's not included? No, the game is included below. Sorry, here we go. 2.43 ERA right now. His whip is 1.67. That's really bad.
Yeah.
He has a 279 average against. Of his 26 strikeouts, he has 27 walks. That's bad. He will get eaten alive in the major leagues.
Yeah.
But you could call him up. I mean, you can't call him up. You have to actually select his contract. He's not on the 40-man. But if you trade one of these guys, you can do that. So give Eddie Yean a try. Sure. Let's go ahead and completely lose the Josh Bell trade. Let's know that we lost the Josh Bell trade.
Yeah. Let it be done.
We want that to just be in stone. We lost the trade. We're done. Absolutely. Listen, Sherrod brings up a good point. This is the time we traded Hanrahan, who then fell apart afterwards. We got Melanson back in that one. We traded Melanson. We got back he who should not be named. We tried to trade him and we didn't, and then he went to prison. So, but the point is there for a while, we traded when they were hot and got back somebody who ended up being as good or better than them in return. And you had a guy, he even mentions Jason Grilly. You had a guy in Jason Grilly who ended up closing games for us, right? He looked like he was too old to play and he was getting a job done. and like bullpens and relievers, like you can ride a hot hand and make something out of it if you've got the right recipe. I mean, Melanson had been with the Yankees, he'd been with the Red Sox, he'd been with the Astros, and he hadn't caught on. And when he came to Pittsburgh, he became Mark the Shark and made a career out of that and still was good with Washington, still was good with Arizona. You know what I mean? Like he had some good years after that. San Diego, he was good with. So like, it's fine if you miss out on Bednar. Knowing that he's good just means you might be able to get something, and this team can't use a $10 million closer next year. Or it doesn't make sense to, I guess. So that's my pitch on Bednar, right? That's I like him too. But in this world, we can't keep everybody we like. That's just that. There, it says Gene, correct pronunciation of Yeen. I mean, of Gene. Yeah, Tony Watson got Cruz. That one felt further away, but it happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so Miles just saying, I wasn't endorsing Eddie, and I wasn't, right? I'm just looking at this stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, these guys, move them while it's there. I mean, Santana is another one too who didn't have like a great track record, came here, went with them. Cheryl says don't re-sign either one of them. Matt says Melanson peaked in the Berg and was traded at the right time. He did lead the league in saves when he was with Arizona the one year, though.
Yeah.
I think it was like 36 or something like that, but he did lead the league in saves still after he left Pittsburgh, but he had 51 in Pittsburgh.
Right.
I mean, he had 51 saves one year. That's ridiculous. So I don't know. So the last thing we'll go to, Jake. Well, let me ask you this. Is Key Bryan, does he have a chance to get traded, or is there not enough there?
I mean, he's got a chance, but I just, if they're going to trade him, they just better get the right package back. I mean,
I guess my question is, he's not an expensive contract. So that's going for him. That's a good thing to keep him around because you don't have to pay a whole lot for him. And if you don't have to pay a whole lot for him and he's just a really good defender, the problem is do we actually need to get better in that position? Because if Brian Reynolds stays and O'Neal Cruz stays and Horwitz Gonzalez stays, that whole right side's figured out. And Henry Davis and Joey Bart probably sticks around at least until they can find somebody who's a better backup or Andy Rodriguez can stay healthy. Something, right? So like if you got all those guys staying, your only opportunity to make this team better is first off, internal development and improvement.
Yeah.
Plus left field and shortstop. And shortstop, you're saying that's probably going to be Connor Griffin. So left field, you think one player is enough to turn this around? I think it has to be more than that. I think not because I don't believe in the players even, because I think you could say like, well, I believe in the players. Even if you did, and I'm not saying I do or don't, but even if you did, don't you think this needs to look different? Or if you show up with the same group, regardless of whether you could have 3 guys go somewhere else and do well, and it still might not have happened if it was all together here. There's going to be a lot of this that's going to, when you come into spring training and it looks too familiar, you know what I mean?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm okay if they trade him.
Sure.
Just don't dump him. Like, get something.
If he's here, he's starting, right? Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that you'd ever let somebody else pass him up.
No.
I guess that's where I'm at with, like, I don't know that dumping him, depending on what you qualify as dumping, but I don't know that, like, moving him intentionally, regardless of return, is necessarily a bad move if that's where you stand, because he will not be able to be replaced so long as he's here. And if you need that, like, let's say you believe in Nick York, his only path is if Key Bryan isn't here. And whether that means Nicky G goes to third or Nick York goes to third, that's his only path.
Yeah, but I do like what Miles is saying here. He says, please stand pat at the deadline. No need to make a move now. Off season with new front office is the only way it works for 26 to 28. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't dump Hayes, but I don't necessarily, like, if you get a good package now, go ahead and take it. But if you're not going to get a good package, you can always move him in the offseason.
Right.
You can always
for sure.
move some of these. Like,
Mitch Keller's the biggest question, right?
Yeah.
As we get to our time here, let's pivot to Mitch Keller and let this be our last guy here. This is our true trade chip.
Mm-hmm.
You can't miss on this. If you think that you can get a better return now than you can in the winter, and I think you can, I think it is a very important move to not stay put with Mitch Keller if you want to make drastic moves to get somebody here quick. If you just want to get the best talent available no matter where they are on the list, then maybe it is an off-season thing, because I think you could get closer to the majors in the off-season, because you're going to trade from, like, right now, a team that's competing is not going to trade good for good.
Right.
They're going to trade far away for somebody right now because they're in the hunt. They're not going to give you an outfielder. Like, for instance, Boston. You might not get Abreu or Rafaela right now. That might be a difficult trade for them to make. Yeah. But in the offseason, you could get them.
Mm-hmm.
Because they could say, like, yeah, we'll trade from a strength. We'll figure that out if we can get more pitching. I don't know that right now Mitch Keller goes to Boston for one. I'm picky for one of those two guys, Cedar Rafaela or Wilyer Abreu. One of those two. I don't know that they're going to do that.
It's hard to say. I don't see it happening.
You don't see Keller being moved?
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't see them moving him.
Them moving. Yeah, those pieces.
Yeah, I got that. Miles says someone can, Josh. Yes. It could be Ben's swan song on moving Keller only now or a future kiss of death. The thing is that Sherrington has done, and this is a nutting quality as well, is they're afraid to make a big risk, a big move that's very risky. Because if it fails, they can't bounce back from it.
Right.
And that's the thing that keeps them from doing the big thing. Like Santander. Had they signed Santander, it would have crippled this franchise even more. But go back in time, I'd still want to do it. Because you have to show you got to try.
Yeah.
And maybe it would have been different. Maybe not. I don't know. But they're going to consistently be afraid to sign guys like that, or Tyler O'Neill, because Tyler O'Neill might get hurt. And we can't absorb that kind of thing with money. Yeah. And it's like, first off, you can. You can. Not a ton of it, but you can.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm still in the same boat with Keller, especially with you have a couple years left on his contract. You can still get a nice return in the offseason. if you don't get the right return, just don't trade him. You just stand your ground, get what you want, or don't give him up. I don't
Cheryl
think
says
Keller's in the starting.
We need Keller gone to get at least someone who can give hope to the Pirates. And that's mixed, right? Because you have one person that says that and says, well, Keller's part of our hope. On the other hand, right? So like I understand both arguments here. Keller can get you the biggest return back, but at the same time, you have a strength right now. Mitch Keller is the example of why you wait for all of this stuff to happen. It's paid off. Yeah. You waited all those years while Keller struggled. Now, you could say also it took too long. And actually, forgive me for saying something nice, but he wasn't going to do this until he got this front office in place, this development staff. They're the ones that fixed Keller. They're the ones that fixed Quinn Priester and moved on from him because the Pirates at the time they traded Quinn Priester, they didn't want to be patient. They didn't have room for him. Now, look, we could have been patient.
Yeah.
Now, whatever. I understand. You thought you were going to get better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know how you fix this problem.
It's a big problem
because it keeps growing. Brian Hayes and Brian Reynolds are huge aspects of this problem. You can't move Reynolds because you know that he could bounce back and be good again.
Yeah.
So he's the one that I think you can't move of the two. Plus the contract's more.
Yeah.
For somebody who's down right now, why would you ever move him while he's down? Brian Hayes is down, but maybe not that much further than he's normally going to be. If the health is a problem, this might be what you get. So I think that moving him, and his contract is so cheap that my thing about Brian Hayes is if you really want to make an impact and you want to make a big move, you're going to have to figure out, what'd you say to me the other day? Eugenio Suarez is a free agent after this year. What if you were to throw a 2-year deal at Eugenio Suarez to play third base for this team next year? He's older, so you're not going to go longer than 2.
Right.
But what if?
I mean, if you get him and you sign him, then you trade. If you still have Key and you bring in Suarez, you trade Key.
You're not getting Suarez there without Key being gone. I guess you could, but I don't know. And then you might have a DH on your hand too, because we don't know what's going on with Kutch. Kutch is slowing down even more.
Yeah.
I just don't know. Cheryl says we need to trade Jared. So we get someone. Are we talking Jared Jones? Jared Triolo maybe? Are we talking about Triolo in the chat? I missed it.
You'll get a bag of seeds for Jared Triolo.
Yeah, Triolo
stinks. I'm over Triolo. I don't ever want to see him in a Pirates uniform again.
Triolo, yeah. Okay. I was like, Jared Jones? Because they traded Tyone when he was hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I could see.
Brubaker.
I could see. And Brubaker. So I could see Jared Jones being. That's a good point. They both were traded to the Yankees. What are the Yankees doing? Oh, all right. That's all I've got, right?
I will say, Mike, yes, people do want him, and they are calling out about Hayes.
Right. The Cubs in particular, who have a hole at third base.
The Cubs and the Yankees, right?
I don't know if the reports are out about the Yankees. I think he'd be a good fit there. I think they have a need, and he would fulfill it. I think he would actually be a good player if he played there. Not the Cubs, though. But I also don't trade guys that are controlled for 5 more years to an in-division rival like the Cubs.
No, absolutely not. I'm trading them to the American League.
I'm not scared of him. I'm not scared of him that way. I just don't want to. I don't want to see all those games against him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In division for a team that's at the top of our division, at the top of baseball right now. The Cubs are, by the way.
Oh, he meant Reynolds.
No one wants Reynolds. No, probably not right now.
Probably not.
You don't take on that contract right now. It's gone long enough this season that we don't know that it's back. He might be done. I don't think so. I hope not, obviously, as a fan.
No,
But like, it's in the back of your mind. You're like, is this it, man? We've seen guys do this. It's very rare. It's very rare in this league. But we've seen guys that this has happened to. I just hope it's not happening right now. That's the other thing. Are we venting? Because like, why is this stuff happening to the Pirates all the time? These guys, these other teams, they get guys that are just nowhere. They come up and then all of a sudden they turn into this thing for like 2 years. And they got some guy back in a trade who ends up being way better than they thought. We don't ever get that kind of luck.
No. Some of us thought we were getting that luck with Joey Bart, but
right.
I don't
And
know.
bullpen arms don't count. Like,
Nope.
yeah, everybody gets that luck with bullpen
Everybody
arms.
gets that luck, yeah.
Everybody does. So I don't know. Well, defensive run save we know Reynolds is not a great outfielder. He's never been a great outfielder. I think left field at PNC Park makes you look better than you are.
Yeah.
You know, Marte was great, but Marte also had good numbers in center. But like Corey Dickerson, Gold Glove year was wild for a guy who had a reputation of being a bad outfielder. Brian Reynolds' numbers in left field were decent for a couple of years. Tommy Pham right now with +8 defensive runs saved, and he looks lost. So like, no, I don't know. Maybe I'm a little like, Pham might not be as bad as I say he is, just for fairness. But because the defensive runs saved are so high, I feel like I have to compensate to even it out to where he should be. So maybe I'm a little bit, maybe I'm a little bit bad there. But right field's not the easiest. Not to get defensive run save stat up. It's not good for stats.
Right.
But anyway, I don't know. This was like all day. I was like, this is going to be a difficult one.
Right field is also one of the hardest positions in the outfield.
Appreciate you, Steel City.
Yeah. I just, most of your star players never play that side of the field all growing up.
I just mean
Their
specifically
entire
PNC Park.
I know.
Though.
I know you mean specifically PNC Park, but I'm just saying, like, right field's not an easy place to play. You never play. If you're making it to the major leagues, you didn't play right field ever in your life.
It's fair.
You played a different position.
The guys with big arms
probably on the
moved
left
to right
side of the field.
Yeah, the guys with big arms move to right field in the minors because they say we want that arm in right field. So PNC Park, in general, right? Left field's very difficult. Right field, not as much. It's tricky, but it's not very difficult. You have a shorter porch, so you can actually come in on balls a lot easier. So, I mean, it gets very deep in right center, but you depend on your center fielder for that. That doesn't really count. But like, the thing about right field and left field at PNC Park, and this is the point that I was making, is left field can increase your defensive runs saved and your defensive numbers because you basically have a center field to play. You also have the balls that carry them off there and get you extra outfield assists that are just set up for you because it bounces right to you. For some reason in right field, Brian Reynolds can't figure that thing out. He's the only one that runs past the ball when it hits that thing.
The short wall.
Right field, on the other hand, at PNC Park, gives you no opportunities to run after a ball that's further away from you. Not no opportunities, some opportunities, but also because it's a short porch, there's a lot of guys that play right field at PNC who will shade towards center field because they don't have as far to go back. And they end up letting balls drop in the right field line that maybe otherwise wouldn't. Like if you were playing at Wrigley, where you have the deep right field, you tend to play a little more towards the line. You know what I mean? And so like right field is not kind to metrics, where left field is very kind to metrics because you have this freedom that you're not worried about. And so That's the thing that makes the metrics look better, because it's like, well, he ran 100 feet for that. You almost never run 100 feet for a ball in right field at PNC. I mean,
Right.
I don't know. You know what I mean? So like, that's the difference. You can go out there and look fine, and your defensive run saved will be like, yeah, he's 0. What are you talking about? 0. Everybody gets that ball. You know what I mean? Like, it's not hard.
Yeah.
And so like, it's hard to get those types of numbers up. And somehow Reynolds finds a way to make them go down. But that's beside the point.
Yeah.
It's the boosts that you get in left field, and you don't get opportunities for boosts in right field at PNC. That's my theory. You can disagree with it if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, right field was not kind to Henry Davis. Yeah, like I said, the negative numbers you can still acquire, you can still accrue as much as you want to earn those. You get no opportunities to make up for them. You know what I mean? You could say the same about Polanco out there. You know what I mean? His numbers were bad because of that. You don't have opportunities to make up for that.
Yeah, we've had a few outfielders that weren't very good that did well in our left field.
Mm-hmm.
Numbers wise.
Right. That's what I said. Like,
Corey Dickerson won a Gold Glove, and he was considered a terrible outfielder almost everywhere else he played.
Exactly. The Corey Dickerson season kind of proves that theory.
Yeah.
And he went back to not being a good outfielder after he left Pittsburgh, by the way. It's because if you can range for a ball, you can boost those numbers up. Yeah. That's all. That's my theory. But there you go. The Pirates are maybe rock bottom. At least with this front on. So we'll talk later. Like, we'll talk next week. Obviously, it'll be what? It'll be the trade deadline next. No, not quite. We'll still have some days. But I bet there's moves made before next week. And so we'll get to talk those. We'll get to break those down. Obviously, I'll be doing shows every day. If something happens, make sure that you boost those up. But Kutch is a good outfielder, okay? No legs, but he's a good outfielder. That's all there is to it. I don't like the hate on that. I'll be here doing shows every day. So if something happens, they'll be here. If it's big time and Jake wants to step in, he'll be here too. We can do that. But stay tuned in. We're going to stay on this thing. I know sometimes it's difficult, but we're going to hang out and we're going to stay on this thing. Thanks for sticking around with us. Thanks for hanging out with us. Matt is talking about pretzels, making him thirsty.
Salt will do that, bud.
Anyway, appreciate you guys in the chat sticking around with us. And Mike says he wins the argument. He's not winning the argument. Kutch is a good outfielder. And Brian Reynolds is not. We already talked about that. I don't understand where the argument's at, Mike. Where's the argument at? I'm just saying Tommy Pham's stats are boosted. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to go watch some shark shows while I edit and enjoy your Shark Week. I might do like shark. Oh, that's a really good idea. I should try my hardest to do shark themed episode titles the rest of the week. I mean, what do we got to lose?
Nothing.
All the games this week. We've got all the games to lose. The Pirates are going up against the Tigers.
Ugh.
The Tigers.
Well, there's your first episode, Tiger Shark.
Wow. I got all kinds of them.
You got a layup
bummed
right
out.
there.
I'm bummed out. Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks again, guys. We appreciate you all the time.
Dang it, Bobby.
And we'll be back with another one. I'll be back with another one tomorrow. We'll be back next week. And despite how bad it is, Jake, let's go Bucks.
Let's go Bucks.
Thanks for listening to my dad and Uncle Jake on the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Bridge2Buctober. Don't forget to subscribe so you know when new episodes are released. Clear the deck, cannonball coming, and let's go Bucks.